There is plenty of impressive young talent on this Philadelphia 76ers roster to get excited about. From Tyrese Maxey to Jared McCain to third overall pick VJ Edgecombe, the options are aplenty. However, one name maybe has not gotten enough attention for the production that he has brought on, and that is second-year player Justin Edwards. An undrafted free agent last year who made the most of his opportunity in a shorthanded season is getting his flowers from Tyrese Maxey directly. I do want to highlight exactly what was said, as well as look forward to what Justin Edwards' role on this Sixers team could be, and why I think it could and make an impact in another decision that is currently being made. So let's get right into it here, and do want to start off with this first headline from the article that writes, Tyrese Maxey says 76ers player was, quote, extremely impressive last season and that he has big upside. And to walk with it here as I go through this, it states that their young core is among the best in the NBA. With Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, should he re-sign, and he will, Jared McCain, and VJ Edgecombe all primed for greatness. Edgecombe is pegged to be the next face of the 76ers, as he's a perfect two-way wing to build around in the years to come. But according to Tyrese Maxey, there is one young star in the Philadelphia 76ers who has gone under the radar after a strong season. Now, to interject here, whenever there is this just tone of straight depression regarding the Sixers organization, this is why I will continue to push back on that. Find me you can count very few teams with as impressive of young core or young potential foundational pieces as that. I understand that there are fair concerns at the top of the Sixers roster, but they've done a nice job of hedging their bet and making sure that there is this next era, this next influx of young talent in a way that I just think very few organizations are able to accomplish that. So would it be the end of the world, or would it be a horrible thing if Joel Embiid can't look like himself again, if Paul George never lives up to that contract? Absolutely. But does it ruin this franchise in the way that I think it would in other situations here? That if Giannis walks away from Milwaukee, what does that organization do? That if Nikola Jokic were to decide I'm done playing basketball, what do the Denver Nuggets do? I don't think the Sixers are that star tied as I think a lot of other organizations are, and that is a hat tip to Daryl Morey directly. Now, to continue on to the article here, that it states, and going down, that Tyrese Maxey gives Justin Edwards his flowers, looks forward to next season. And it says Tyrese Maxey spoke on the Philly Take podcast for an interview. When discussing his Philadelphia 76ers teammates, he praised Justin Edwards. In particular, he loved Edwards' performance during the season. On top of that, Maxey was impressed with his size and his hunger to deliver for his team. Quote, I really just liked the way Justin played last year. He was extremely impressive. He played off the ball. He defended, he knocked down shots. He was able to play off the pitch, which was really, really good. That's really important in today's game. And he's tall. End of the day, the man's tall. He's got size, and he's able to rebound and defend and do all those different things that you need at a high level. Big upside, I think, for Justin. I think he's going to be able to carve up for himself a good rotation piece for this year and for the rest of his career. Now, I love that Tyrese Maxey is spreading his flowers. I also got to make sure I give a huge shout out to my guy RB Philly Take for putting this interview together with Maxey on him. Definitely check out the full video if you guys have not. I thought he did a really nice job with the interview. That at Maxey, they covered a lot of topics there, talking about what last year was like, going through that, what it is kind of like being in the middle ground for him. And I thought RB did a really nice job. So definitely encourage you guys checking out that full interview. But in that interview is where he mentioned Justin Edwards directly. And this is a guy that I think we need to make sure gets his praise. Now, to just lay out the stats from last season for Justin Edwards, that he played 26.3 minutes per game, averaged 10.1 points, 3.4 rebounds, 1.6 assists, shot 45.5% from the field, 36.3% from three, also 37.5% on corner three attempts. He is still just 21 years old, and a guy who's had a bit of a unique path to this point that I do think hints toward a ton of untapped potential and upside beyond what his undrafted label or a lot of other factors to indicate there. Now, for Edwards specifically, we'll start with the full trajectory here. That this dude was recruited as one of the top dogs in the nation, coming right out of Philly, Imhotep Charter. I did have a chance to watch him once in high school, and I will say, when watching him in high school in person, I did sort of get the feeling of, are we sure that this guy is the best player in the country? Which at the point of me watching him, he was. And I didn't quite feel that way, but I did think he was like an NBA player. I did think there was a clear pathway to him achieving. I just wasn't like, you're telling me this is the best high school player? I've seen some very good high school players, and Justin Edwards didn't pop off the page to me like that. But I think what he did is found his lane, and that's what I'm going to get into next. But I did want to pull up the 247 rankings, which at this stage in the game, the final rankings, he dropped to third. And by the way, right ahead of him, Ron Hollis Allen, who's obviously doing his thing with the Pistons. Isaiah Collier, who I like and is doing his thing with the Jazz. Got to get that three-point shot up, but a very incredible playmaker. Both guys that are NBA players. Cody Williams, who's had a tough start to his NBA career, but all the right there in the league with them, coming in fourth. And you can kind of go down this list. Really interesting. Matas Buzelis, who kind of popped with the Bulls last year. Jacoby Walter, who's played his lane. Stephon Castle, who was rookie of the year at 9th. Our guy, Jared McCain, was also 14th in the same class here, so kind of cool walking through it. But I bring up this to say that he was recruited as one of the top prospects in all of basketball this season. And he went to Kentucky with as loaded of a class as you could ask for. And my personal opinion when viewing that season is there was nothing super negative about the Justin Edwards tape. It was just that he was outplayed by other NBA players. We're talking Reed Shepherd. We're talking Rob Dillingham. That those were the studs that year that really made the most of this opportunity. And so that's sort of just the John Calipari method. He's gonna bring in a ton of talent, let them compete. And while there's a ton of NBA like success stories, Tyrese Maxey, an example right here in Philadelphia, there's also a lot of guys who don't really get on the right track because of all the other levels of competition for players surrounding them. That it is great to have all this NBA caliber talent on the roster here. It's not as great when you don't get the shots up or get able to play the way that you want to. For Justin Edwards specifically, I thought he had some flashes in his one and done year. That I was kind of shocked to see this guy go undrafted completely. The game he played against Alabama particularly stands out to me. I know he hit a couple threes. I want to say like 5 in that game. And what I'm most complimentary of him since he got to the NBA and started playing for the Sixers is just finding his lane. That for a role player, which it's at this stage of this game, that's what I would consider Justin Edwards. I do think there is a world where there's more to that, but he is a role player. You just have to make the right decisions. For Justin Edwards, the game is simple right now. He's going to defend as well as he possibly can. He's going to shoot open threes. He's going to make the connective pass. He's going to rebound. He's just going to do the basic skills things, and that's what he did all last season. That I think he, more so than anyone on this Sixers roster, made the most of what last year was. And what last year was a straight up mess that we didn't know who was going to be there from start to finish. And for Edwards specifically, he started off the season basically fully expected to just be playing G League time. That I believe he was officially on a 2-way contract that got upgraded to a standard as the year progressed. They were able to sign him to a multi-year team-friendly deal, and I think that is very well done business by Daryl Morey. These are the kind of moves that, while everyone's going to get lost in the headlines of the top dogs of this team, I give Morey a ton of credit for his investment in the bottom, making sure that you're getting your value on your dollar at the bottom of the salary cap. That's how you really put yourself in a healthy position as a franchise, and Justin Edwards a key part of this. Now, the decision that I kind of alluded to in my intro here is I don't think it's coincidental that we're starting to get this belief in Justin Edwards at the same time that we're hearing these Kelly Oubre Jr. rumors and trade rumors and whispers, and will this guy be with the Sixers overall? Kelly himself punching back against the media and reports and really fan base overall for not feeling the love himself. I don't think those are coincidental there. If you have a guy like Justin Edwards that you think can be the Kelly Oubre of this team and you're paying him 1/8 of that price tag, that makes a ton of sense to try and move on from the one guy and keep the cheaper option if it's about the same caliber of talent. Now, I wouldn't say that they're exactly the same player. I think Justin Edwards has a much higher basketball IQ, to be honest, but there is a level of athleticism that I think Oubre has. I think there's a level of creation ability or individual scoring that Oubre has that we haven't seen from Edwards just yet. But I do think Edwards is a guy who the more opportunity that you do give him, the better that he's going to get. That I thought the version of him we saw at the start of last season and the version of him that we saw at the end were pretty night and day different. As long as that second guy is here to stay and can continue getting chances, we could have quite the NBA player on our hands. Let's not forget that there have been undrafted guys that have fallen through the cracks before. I think Justin Edwards is just one of those examples, and we'll see how things shake out. So I love seeing Tyrese Maxey sharing his praises for the 21-year-old, and I don't think Edwards should be forgotten when we're having the conversation the best young talents on the team. He's not one in that conversation. I don't think he's pushing Maxey or VJ or, Quentin Grimes or Jared McCain or any of these options just yet, but he's right in that same mix and going to be a key part of the Sixers franchise for their foreseeable future, at least for the next couple seasons, and we'll see how things go from there. But we'd love to hear from you guys. Do you have a player comp for Justin Edwards? Mine personally that I kind of landed on was Derrick Jones Jr. He's not quite the athlete that Derrick Jones Jr. is. Obviously, both lefties there, and they got some Philly ties as well, but that's sort of what I landed on. We'd love to hear if you guys got a better name for that. So drop your Justin Edwards player comp in the comments here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in the video as always. If you have not already, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button, dropping a like on this video here, and I'll be back to talk with you next time. Peace.